Hi guys, just joining you today, speaking to Neil and Dean with regards to a topic on today's scene in MMA, and for me probably one more so very relevant at the moment is many people are talking about the standardisation and the uniformity of rule sets. Obviously in the UK, the way things have gone in the last 10, 12, 15 years, the sport has more or less grown and governed itself. That's a separate entity, and I think we've evolved very quickly and in most cases very positively for a reason. And what I would like to see happen in the not too distant future is having the rule sets defined and unified for both professionals and amateurs. Yeah, I mean, just further compounding on what I said, I think the time is now in terms of capitalising on the popularity and the explosion of the sport, and I think now is as good a time as any to start reaching out and looking to standardise the rule sets. And for me, we're not boxing, but obviously very closely related in terms of the rule sets. So I would like to see either a professional or an amateur by definition, not by rule set. Again, in the UK, I think by and large we've done very well, and promotions and different organisations, competitions, they've been dictated to by the fighters that have been available and by the gyms that supply the fighters. And I think now is the time to help try and bring some uniformity together, bring the promotions together, the gyms, so that, look, it's like any other sport. When you turn up to play a game of football, when you turn up to play a game of rugby, by rules you won't have a different set of rules. I can watch a game of rugby in Canada and then go watch a game of rugby in Australia, and it's going to be exactly the same. And I think the time is now for that to happen with MMA. I think there is far too many fragmented rule sets out there. For the casual punter, for the casual fan, he may see something in one end of the country, not even one end of the country. He could look at one show in a particular town or city, then go to another show the following week and see something completely different. By and large, I think what I do, I try and impress to the promoters and the referees and whatnot who come and train under me at the seminars and whatnot, and try and tell them to start adapting a unified rule set. I think what people will commonly refer to at the moment is, you'll see them say NSAC. There isn't an NSAC rule set. That's something that's been adapted. Again, it's just a term that's evolved. Like I said, we can have things a lot more simplistic in value, and as I said, we have professional rules and we have amateur rules. The professional being the unified rules of MMA, but then again in the UK, there's some promotions who slightly differ and vary from that. And I think in time, that kind of, we can iron out those anomalies. But what I would like to see, as I say, sooner rather than later, is no more semi-pro matches, no more B, C, D, E, F type matches. I would like to see the sport, even for the paying punter, for all the guys in the gyms, all the fighters, all the coaches, that, when I go to a show in Glasgow and then go to a show in Bournemouth, I understand the rules. There's no need for so many fragmented rules. Like I said, I think people lose sight of the fact that we've come such a long way in a very short space of time, and I think people don't often get that in proportion. Yes, there's been some horror stories, but there's also been some very good stories. But this can only happen if we all get together. Quite what we want to define as the amateur rule set, there's still some little things that are open to interpretation. Yeah, guys. So just to surmise, I mean, this sport's not all about one person, one promotion, one gym, one fighter. We are a collective movement. And like I said, but I do think that they're, to repeat a phrase, the time is now. We need to start getting together and get some form of agreement on this rule set. There's some very positive things happening in the background in terms of health and safety with shows, and obviously people have heard of the International Federation, the UK Federation. All the right things are happening, but again, the point I'd like to make is don't lose sight of the fact that we've come such a long way in a very short space of time. You look how long mixed martial arts has been around in the UK in comparison to other sports. As I said, yes, we can hear horror stories, but all sports have horror stories. By and large, the good guys are out there and we're doing very well. Adaptation of the rules and the amateur rule sets, I mean, pretty much, it's kind of clearly defined that, again, it would be fighting with the 3-minute rules. They would be fighting with bigger spar master or sparring type gloves. There would be the removal of elbows. There would be the removal of heel hooks. There would be the removal of anything designated as a spine lock, putting pressure directly on the spine, twisters and the like. And then maybe again looking into, sorry, I don't know if I actually said 3 times 3 minutes, having fights contested over 2 rounds, it's hard, it's hard enough for the judges as it is. I don't want to get down that route at the moment, but I think all fights should be contested over 3 times 3 minute rounds, larger gloves, keep the same unified weight cuts on the day weigh-ins, not day before weigh-ins, and let's start moving forward together. Like I said, it's going to take time. All the judges, all the referees, they'll start talking to the promotions they work with, a bit of crosstalk, and believe you me, it is happening with the promotions, regardless of what other people may think. So yeah, I'd be interested, to be out there and hear your thoughts. But for me, the message is clear. Let's move forward. We have professional mixed martial arts competitors, and we should have amateur mixed martial arts competitors.
Cool.